Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's been a while, but welcome back to the Big Easy channel. Once again, Big Easy is back with you. Today, after a long hiatus, I've decided to do another video. But this isn't like my typical video, like showing you here the Asashio. This is just going to be a background video. No talk about the Asashio, no talk about destroyer play, no talk about tactics. This is more along the lines of let's talk about World of Warships, Legends.
Enemy force sighted
Um,
on the horizon.
Lately, a lot of the Legends content creators and CCs have done videos on what they'd like to see, their complaints with the games, the status of the
Capture
games, the
that
player
area.
base. I'd like to do a video today, or that's why I'm doing this. Instead of making comments to these CCs or these content creators, this is my way of reaching out to the community in person, or as best as I can. So this is what the video is about, and I hope you can stay. This will be a little bit. I'm going to show a little video on training
Concentrate
rooms
fire on the
from the
designated
PC
target.
version for those that don't have the PC version and maybe haven't seen it. Since that's one of the big issues and one of the complaints, so I figure maybe at the end of the video here I will add in a little bit of training rooms, so that way people
Smoke
can
generator
witness
started.
some of what goes on there. So, anyways, I'm gonna basically tag off of one of the CCs and some of his videos lately, pretty much his um, top 5 items and so on and so forth,
Smoke
since this
screen
seems to
set.
be a big thing. So obviously one of the big topics is, the status of Legends. Of course, I'm not a CC. I'm not in with the wargaming community in the sense of knowing numbers or anything like that. Just the background history myself. I've played PC a long time before Legends came out. Even though what I'll show later doesn't really show like how much I was into it, because when I kind of quit, because pretty much the introduction of the new, what we see in Legends now, carrier playstyle compared to the old one that was in PC, which I actually liked and enjoyed. When a new version of the carriers came out, and which anybody knows anything, carriers are kind of OP in PC, and I kind of quit. And I also kind of quit when I heard that this Legends was coming out on console, and I've enjoyed it ever since. So I've been with console ever since its release. I've been around a while. I have 2 accounts for those that may know. The Big Easy 1 and 2 account. Between both accounts, I have over 10,000 games played, and basically both accounts, I pretty much have the same win rate of 60%. So I've been around a while. I do pretty good in the game. I wouldn't consider myself,
Concentrate fire on
way
the
above
enemy warship.
average, but anybody's watching my videos and stuff, including this, will see that I do okay. So it's kind of my history, and I just kind of want to put out there, how well I do in the game, which most people would say I do pretty good. It's above average. 60 is pretty good. Last I heard, the average player base is around 48%,
Engine boost
which I
checked.
was at prior to watching the CCs and content creators and actually learning how to play the game. So, for those that I've watched, and I may mention names today, but I appreciate the opportunity to watch and learn and get better at the game. And I hope for those that are new and maybe run across this, will look at those CC videos, including myself, and learn how to play the game and improve your win rating, such as I did, and improve the player base, and maybe make the game a little more competitive than what it is.
Attention.
So I
Reporting
just
a
want to
target
start out
position.
that I'm a firm believer that Legends is a completely separate entity from PC. So for those of you out there, and this isn't a dig or anything, but for those of you out there that, complain, well, why don't we have this and why we don't have that compared to PC? This is not a console version of PC. And
Engine
I
boost
hope that word
deactivated.
gets out there. It's been spread amongst wargaming. If you watch their videos, this is not a console version of that. So first of all, you kind of need to get that out of your head. This game has less boats on each team. It's faster pace. You don't have as large of maps, and in the end, it's its own identity. And I appreciate that, and that's why I play this. It's kind of one of my hobbies I have in life. And so far, you know, I think it's a good game and represents what started on PC. But I think personally, this version is better. So to move forward, um, one of the things that I would like to see in 2023 or improvements is not only, which I'll get to, is an improvement on the current meta. My opinion of the current meta, which kind of is actually kind of following PC, to be honest with you. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Well, what I'd like to see, and one thing that was based on or touched on was basically more variety. This one CC that put it out there pretty much claimed that, you know, we need more variety, and you know, we're human beings. We like variety. We don't like the same thing over and over and over again. Is that a good, bad thing? I'll let you be the judge of that. But it's human nature to want more variety. And this game's been out for 3.5 years now. You know, they'll claim in April or March, whatever. You know, that it's the 4th anniversary when testing started. So one of the things he brought up was maps, and as I'll kind of showcase in my training rooms video from PC, you'll see that there is actually more maps from PC. Now, yes, I would say we need more maps, a little more variety there. Doing the same things over and over again gets kind of stale. But one thing I like about this game is every game is different. It's never the same, and it is a multiplayer, so that's part of that too. So that's what kind of keeps me in the game. But yes, I believe we do need more maps. I think they could bring some of these maps and cross them over to our platform from PC. But I'd also like to see maps, much like some boats, our commander system, more exclusive to Legends that they don't have on PC, and I really think that I hope the devs can hopefully bring some content as far as maps that are pretty much specific to the Legendaries games. So to move on from there, the other thing that was brought up was possibly bringing in more modules. PC has a lot of modules. You know, the claim is well, you know, everybody has cookie cutter builds, this and that, and so on and so forth. And you know what? I played enough different style of games. I was big into World of Warcraft. I'm big into other. I've been big into other things. You know, I've been in clans. I've been in guilds. I've been in teams. I've been on all these sorts of things, and I've reached the higher levels of these games, the peak and all that, and top status and the leaderboards and stuff like that. So I have a lot of experience in this. Modules would be good. To me, there seems to be a lot more modules. I don't play PC that much. I kind of go in and out once in a while. Since I quit, just to look at things and stuff like that. But yes, there seems to be more modules. I know the thing I don't really want to see is what appears to me is the modules you pay for, you know, with real money or something like that. That just points out more of pay to win in a sense, and you know, nobody, as much as, you know, obviously we're going to have some of that, nobody really wants to see that, and as much as CCs and content creators want to complain about that, this is a game, it is a company, and they have to make money. So yes, we could bring more modules in. That may help. I really don't want to see the pay to win type modules. I hope those don't become a thing, but I can see where he was going with that. So of course, some of the other things he brought up was more ships. Well, that's part of this game, and I'll kind of get into ships around the time I talk about the current meta and what I think. So the other thing is modes. Modes was a big thing he brought up, and in the training video, I'll show some of the things that they do with modes on PC. I think more permanent modes, kind of like he said, would be great. Just the AI and the standard, yeah, it kind of gets stale at times, stuff like that, especially with the current meta. I know Wargaming Express, of some of the modes that they have in PC, it'd be very difficult to bring over.
All
But at
stations,
the same
requesting
time, I
fire on the
know it's not
designated
easy. I have an
target.
understanding of bringing content over from another platform. But seriously, the content is there.
Concentrate
I'm
fire
sure
on the
if they would just take
designated
the time, they
target.
could bring some of these modes over. So the other idea I have, and he's kind of expressed too, is look at other look at other platforms, look at other genres as far as games, first person, third person shooters, stuff like that, which this is very similar. And what I'd like to see is maybe some of those variations, like we have Capture the Base and Domination and Epicenter. But let's do something like he suggests. Let's look at other genres in those first person, third person shooters, and let's bring in something like what's popular is like escort mode. Maybe somewhere something like on the map, you have a aircraft carrier that's damaged, say, or a cargo ship, or a passenger ship, or something like that. Or I
Engine
think he
boost
suggested like a
activated.
dirigible or a blimp. You have to escort it from point A to B, and the other team maybe has their own, or you have an escort on one team and just one team, and the other team has to basically stop the escort at all costs before you get to point B. Um, I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be cool, and I think it'd be cool if Wargamings could put their own twist on that as far as World of Warships Legends. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be pretty awesome, different. Maybe, obviously we still would like to get our normal rewards in a sense, XP, green XP, commander, all that, but maybe something in there to encourage people to, play them a little bit more, with a little different reward. I think that'd be pretty cool too. So I hope, I hope they can
Engine
think about
boost
stuff like that.
deactivated.
Maybe the CCs and hopefully the community content creators can look at this and go, hey, you know what, that's a pretty cool idea, and maybe that's something they can work at. So that's another suggestion you brought up. I agree with it. I hope maybe they can come up with some content that gives us a little more. I mean, understand it, along with training rooms. I had a person yesterday. I made some comments during his live Legends stream, and I made some comments, and about PC versus Legend Legends and our console version here. And he's like, well, you got to remember the community is much larger on PC and this and that and so on and so forth. And I get it, and I'm sure they don't have the support. I'm sure I don't know what the status is of how well their employment and all that, but I hope that we can get more quality of life things in the game versus just ships. A lot of the content that seems to come, and I know you're going to have your campaigns every 5 weeks, and you're going to bring ships, and everybody wants more ship variety, and I'm going to get into this in here real soon, but
Engine boost
it's one of
activated.
those. I think I have an understanding. I think the community has an understanding. But we need more quality of life upgrades. But that's what we need. More than just bringing us 5, 6, 7 different ships during a campaign or something, which most of them it's either campaign or you pay for. So, I understand they need money, and boats is one of the things that they get their money from, and it is wargaming, and they seem to have a reputation. So, all I can say is the big thing I'd like to see in 2023 is a change to quality of
The ship is
life.
on fire.
And I'll get into that a little bit more
Problem
here
solved, sir.
shortly. But what I want to bring up is the ship thing. Yes, everybody wants a variety of ships, and there's a lot of complaints. Well, I want this, I
Engine
want
boost
that.
deactivated.
this is a game where people have preferences, and I hate to say it. And one thing I think that's really hurting the game right now, and I've said it time and time, the current meta right now, I hate to say it, is battleships. And I'm going to show you here in a couple of screenshots of a game I played a couple games I played a couple days ago. Current meta, look at this. This is battleships. Everybody's playing battleships. And everybody's complaining about how, games are one-sided and so on and so forth. Well, I mean, look at this particular one. 8 battleships at tier 8 and legendary. 8 battleships and 1 carrier. I'm going to be honest with you, that last screenshot of the 8 ships, 8 battleships per team and 1 carrier was one of the most boring games I've ever played. And I'm just being honest. It was the most stupidest, boring game I've ever played. And right now our current meta is battleships. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of that happened also on PC, especially with aircraft carriers. And I don't play it hardly at all, but I'm sure what little I tried submarines, the gameplay was absolutely passive and absolutely boring and absolutely one-sided. And it's kind of gotten this way, in my opinion, as far as our current meta, which I feel is battleships, which is turning into passive gameplay. It's not competitive anymore, it's passive. And I feel the reason that we have these games where either blue team or red team is completely dominating is because so many players right now are playing battleships. And I hate to say it, and if anybody out there that, I used to be a battleship main. That's how I started. Then I went to DDs, and I love DDs. I would say I'm more of a DD player now than ever. But I'm also starting to work on cruisers. And why am I starting to work on cruisers and get better at cruisers? Because you hardly see them. And the only way I could see things change is bringing in, changing the meta and bringing in more cruisers, especially heavy cruisers. Heavy cruisers, in my opinion, in the games I play, is the least amount of the cruiser class that's played. And to me, we need those heavy cruisers. We need more cruisers. So, I don't know about anybody else. If you're watching this, please pay attention to your matches. Write it down. I started writing down, keeping track. Keep track on how many games you have 4 or 5 battleships. And most of them lately, to me, is 5 battleships. And the worst games that I play right now are games where there's 1 carrier and 5 battleships. That's taking up 6 slots per team. 6 slots, which only leaves 3 more. And usually those are either filled with DDs, 3 DDs, or usually 1 cruiser and 2 DDs, or sometimes I see where there's no DDs and you get 3 cruisers. And those are the absolute worst games to play. I absolutely hate the 1 carrier, 5 battleship, and 3 cruiser games. Why? Because nobody wants to push, nobody wants to get out there and spot. And you can say, yeah, well, you have the aircraft carrier. Well, if the aircraft carrier is on the other side of the map, paying attention to something else, there's nobody spotting. And then eventually, a person like myself, you get tired of it and be like, okay, somebody's got to do something. And usually the outcome of these games with 5 battleships, 4 battleships on each team. Usually what I've seen lately is for the battleships that are not backline Bettys are willing to cautiously push in and do their job, just seems to run the other team over. So, I've gotten to the point of when it comes to ships in the game, yes, especially legendary tier, they need cruisers. They need heavy cruisers. But heavy cruisers, in my opinion, in my experience of going out there, is the least type of ship played in the game. And all these CCs and community content creators that are cruiser mains are just complaining up and down over and over again. And I'm kind of getting tired of it because the simple truth, yeah, they need heavy cruisers at Legendary Tier. I don't understand why they're there either, but I also understand that they are the least played class and type of that class in the game. And Wargaming is a company, they try to make a profit, and they're not going to sell anything that doesn't make a profit. If it's not popular, if it's not something people are really playing in the game, they're not gonna put it out there. I'm sorry. I mean, but that's the simple truth from a business aspect. It's a harsh reality, but it's the truth. So if we want to see heavy cruisers, if we want to see more variety, we've got to get the community to switch up from playing battleships. I love battleships too, but I don't even hardly play them anymore because I don't want to be part of the process of adding another battleship to another game. I don't want to see that. Even playing battleships, I don't want to see 4 other battleships with me on the same team. It's so boring. It's so boring. So me, I believe what needs to change as far as ships is, yes, they need to bring in cruisers. I'm total agreement with that. But until we change the popularity of cruisers to get wargaming and start putting them in there, it's going to be a tough road ahead. So, one, I know Legends is different from PC, is a faster pace, getting in quicker, not being in queue long, but you know what? I played PC, I had no problems with a little longer queues, and I personally think there should be ship limits. Ship limits, one, we already have a ship limit on carriers, so we know they can do it. They should have ship limits on BBs, and they should have ship limits on DDs, and cruisers should absolutely have no ship limit. If you look at when we start at Tier 1 and Tier 2 and progress through the game, we start with cruisers, and it's all filled with cruisers. And I'll be honest with you guys, and if you're serious to think about it, some of the most fun played games I've had in Legends is when there is a lot of cruisers on each team. I mean, a lot in the population, and they're so much fun, and they're usually not one-sided, and it feels a lot more competitive. So, once again, I think a big change I'd like to see is put limits on no more than half, which me without a carrier, no more than 4 DDs or battleships on a team. And if there is a carrier, there should be no more than 3 of both of those class with unlimited amount of cruisers. That's what I think needs to happen. The meta needs to change, and I think it would really help the game out and make it more competitive. And I'm willing, and I've said this time and time again to Wargaming, to CCs, community content creators, that I'm okay with waiting an extra minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds to get into a more balanced gameplay with ships, to include all the classes. I'm okay with it. I would rather wait an extra 30 seconds to a minute for a good quality game than go out there and waste 5, 6, 7 minutes and either have a game where we just completely blow them away, or if you're on the blue team and you just get completely rushed and run over. That's a complete waste of my time. And most of the games, and a lot of people out there agree, that just seems to be what's happening, and I feel it's because the current meta is battleships right now, and it's turned into passive play, much like PC. So, anyways, moving on. Here, this video is wrapping up here as far as my gameplay of the Sashio, and what I'm going to move into now is a discussion about training rooms. One of the big things the CCs and the community content creators have been asking for, and they've been pretty much complaining of why it's not here. Well, I want to kind of show you training rooms, and I kind of want to express my opinion about training rooms. So here is the example from PC of training rooms. Now, part of this I am going to show, if you look here, is the random operations, which we go back to modes. And I'm going to kind of show you here real quick just the operations here. So if you see here, this is a submarine operation. It kind of gives you the goals, the briefing, and everything. And then I'll kind of show the others. So if you haven't seen a version of the PC, you can pause it, kind of read them over and see what you think. But this is the other operation, the kind of historical stuff. You can kind of see everything here. I've done a couple. They can be pretty fun. Anyways, Now we're going into training rooms. I'm showing here there are restrictions from the main menu. People can put them out there. You can lock them out and have a private, or you can join people's training rooms. Now here you can see the map, and as I run through here, you can see the different maps in the PC version, and then also they show the modes, and you can try the different modes. So anyways, I'm going to pretty much put ocean down for this example. Now here you can set the conditions. You can restrict things, like here I'm just going to restrict certain levels, and then I'm going to restrict kind of one class of ship as far as the 5 to bring into the game. It's pretty simple. And then you can also, here with the nation, you can also restrict, or in a sense allow, which nations that you'll want to put in this training. So it's kind of cool that way. You can kind of do this. Obviously you don't have to go through the hassle of all this if you're just putting something together. Obviously I'm going to do this all in AI. Obviously you can make it private and other things that you can see on the far right. Now here you can change the settings when you go over the map. And then this obviously is the screen in which you can add the ships. You can have some moving, you can have them stationary, you can have some that will actually be armed and shoot at you, and then you can pick the level in which you want, whatever challenge you want. With the AI, you can pick that level. So obviously you can bring in, which I won't be doing, but you can bring in real players. And then, as far as I understand, I've never done it, you can have people come into your training area there as, once I can see it again. I'm not sure how it works in that way. I'm not that familiar with training rooms. This is kind of, just showing you what it's like, and possibly what they're trying to integrate into Legends. I'm sure is going to be very similar to this. And this could be the added problem of why it's so hard to cross over, and why they possibly had a quality issue. But as you can see here, most of the ships you can pick from is pretty much tech ships, tech tree ships, and pretty much even if you don't have them, they're there. Whereas you as a player, you're limited to what ships you have. So you can't just randomly pick a premium ship, especially, and to go, well, I don't have this ship, but I want to test it out. It would be kind of cool if you could say, before you purchase a ship, say the new one coming out, this next update, what is it, Rochester, you could pick and go, okay, let me play it in training rooms and see if it's something I like or if it's something I'll pass. I'm not sure if that's something Wargaming would do, but it would be pretty cool if you could do that. I know you can't do that on the PC version. So anyways, while I'm still kind of setting up something here to show you, the problem I have with training rooms and with the content creators and all that is, I know they've wanted it, and I'm not saying that Wargaming shouldn't bring it to the game. And I'm not saying that it can't be utilized in a good way. In this particular instance here, the way I set it up stuff, it's not like I went in and was like, oh my gosh, I learned something today. No, I did bring a sub in. I've played the sub, but I've never really gone against the sub. So obviously there was like a little bit like, oh, I didn't know that I could do this or I could do that. I mean, I have yet to really go in and, say drop depth charges. Even in this game, I wanted to try and do it, but to get in position to do it, I just didn't want to take the time. But anyways, I have it set up now. But the problem I have with it is yeah, we have clans coming up, and obviously, if you want to practice with your clan and they want to test out how well you play and come up with strategy and all that, obviously, training rooms is a good place to do that. If you're a new player, obviously you want to go out and try things where citadels are. There is some experimentation you can do. But I'll be honest with you, I've been in clans and PC. I played PC for a long time. Training rooms have been around for a long time. And by the way, here I'm kind of showing you guys, for those that haven't seen it or don't have the PC version, you know, one of the tier 5 um, tech tree Italian destroyers. So hopefully we'll see one of these here in one of the updates coming up. So anyways, I pretty much put ships in here that we do not have in Legends, just to kind of show them off. But back to the subject. My problem is the content creators and the CCs, and not all of them. I don't have. There's a lot of CCs out there, and you know who that I like. I support them, but then there's others that I feel have too much ego, too cocky, sit there and call themselves, unicorns and chads and all this and that, which I hate those terms. I hate when people do that because it literally is. The terms itself is you pretty much call yourself that, and I don't like that. And I feel in any part of life, you can learn from somebody else, and there are people out there that are better than you. So it's self-proclaimed, and it's very egotistical, and I would rather that show a little restraint and be like, all right, I'm pretty good at the game, but uh, there are times that I'm a potato and I do things too, and hold back a little bit. But the problem I have with it, and one of the CCs kind of admitted why they wanted training rooms, is for content. And that, to me, he said it. He said the word, and I really appreciate him for saying it. He pretty much said it. I want it because I'm selfish. I want it for my content. Now I understand those that are CCs, and I'm sure that YouTube, if they've gone long enough, are paying them, and it's part of probably their income and all this and that. Yeah, I can see where the content comes from, and but at the same time, it's like, okay, you complain about the current player base, you complain about the current meta, whatever your opinion is, like my own, that the current meta is passiveness and BBs. I'm sure most people, especially BB mains, would disagree with me, especially a particular one that is one of the most popular content creators out there on YouTube. I heard him yesterday, and this morning talking about this update, and it's just wham, wham, wham. I'm a BB main, and oh my gosh, everything is against me. Oh, please don't take away Will to Rebuild. Please don't, make HE spammers. Don't make where HE can pen me better. DDs, there's too many, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, seriously, there's too many BBs out there to begin with. I don't know, honestly, what you want. I think what BB players want is uh, anything they can just basically dev strike and be able to pump their chest out and say, yeah, I just did that and I'm awesome. But there's a thing called balance, and me personally, I'm kind of tired of it. But back to the subject, training rooms, for the average player, just like what I'm showing here, for the average player that don't div up with other people, that don't have those friends out there, that yeah, these would be great for the memes. I think one of the things I saw yesterday probably took place in training rooms was Kleber racing, and it was funnier than hell, and I enjoyed watching it, and with my kids, and for that, yeah, great content. But to me, to sit here and say, okay, I'm a CC, I'm a content creator, and it's not competitive gameplay and standard anymore. And I have my own little group. I have my own little buddies. I have my chads. And for content, I need training rooms so I can have this competitive gameplay. And I'm like, well, that's just wrong, because who are you to decide
Smoke generator started.
who you choose? I mean, I understand why you choose, but come on, the people out there that are watching your content, you complain about stream sniping, you complain about this and that, but a lot of these people watch your content, and guess what? They want to get into your content. They want to learn. They want to learn from you. They want to learn from you guys. But then the total attitude is well, the player base sucks. I only want to be with my group, and the only way I can put out good content out there and stay popular and maintain my channel is to bring in the super unicorns, the chads, and all that. But my question is to you: why not? You know, here I am. I have over 10,000 games. I have a 60% win rate. Um, am I included in that, or am I not good enough? And this isn't about me trying to get in there. I've played in plenty of the CCs in content creators game. I think the most people I've gotten in with, and even though there's people out there
Torpedoes
claiming,
to
well,
port.
you know, you're stream sniping. Well, no, I'm not stream sniping. This is honestly
Torpedoes dead
random
ahead.
battles, and I'm getting in with Aaron and Peak. And, you know, I enjoy getting in there. Most of the time I'm on their team in randoms. And but I get on the opposite. But I enjoy those games, and I enjoy being in there, and I enjoy communicating, saying, "Hey, GG," and you know they usually see, "Hey, how I did," and they say something back. But at the same time, they don't recognize the fact that I have over 10,000 games. They don't recognize the fact that I have a 60% win rate as a solo player, and they don't care because I don't fit in their group. And the average player doesn't fit in their group. And for me, what Training Room is an opportunity to get in there. You know, say you're in a match. You know, if I had the time, I would sit there and be like, just like I used to do when I was World of Warcraft or other things that I was leaders in and officers and even mobile gaming. If I had the opportunity to pull them aside and go, okay, you know, yeah, being at the top in guilds
Engine boost
and you
activated.
know here would be clans and stuff like that. You know, you get to play with the top people, and trust me, don't get me started about clans because to me clans are just a drama club and a crap show, or guilds or
Engine boost
anything where you get
deactivated.
groups in there because it just becomes a drama club. But the simple fact of the matter is people are watching your content, and people are watching your content because they would like to play with you. They'd like to get in there. Not only learn by watching your gameplay, but they would like the opportunity to get in there. If you look at their chats and stuff, you know, people want to. I mean, you can't be a content creator, you can't be a CC and not expect people
Our team has
to
taken the
want to
lead.
play with you. You're popular, they can learn from you. You obviously know the mechanics of the game. They want to be in there. Now, are you going to pull somebody aside after a match, or a couple people in there, and put a chat out there, message them, and be like, "Hey, why don't you join me in the training room real quick, and let me show you how it's done"? Doubtful. Doubtful. Why? It doesn't help your channel. It's a waste of your time. That's why I have a problem with training rooms. That's why I have a problem with the CCs and content creators wanting this so bad. Yes, I think we need training rooms. But as you can see here, as I go on, you know, yeah, this is AI. It's the way I set up. But am I really learning anything here? I'm learning that when I take a tier 5, I think this is a tier 9 or 10. I don't remember. But what am I learning? How hard I can hit it with sap. You know, I'm not really learning. You know, obviously it's part of how I set it up, but to the average solo player out there, this is a tool. But is it going to be a tool that's used much? Probably not. And I'll be honest with you, when you look at content creators on PC, you hardly see anything other than meme stuff sitting there in their content creation. So for those of you that want this for your content creation, I beg you, I'm asking you, and I know I'm griping, but seriously, you have to have a more open mind. And if you're just going to use it for the memes, and use it for content creation and for your competitive gameplay, I think that's selfish. I really think that's selfish. If you want to use, you know, if you want to use training rooms to further your channel, then I suggest, and I know I would, to use it for its purpose. Reach out to your community, reach out to your subscribers, reach out to your members, and use this for what it could really be used for. You know, I brought up about the current meta being BBs. Well, bring people in here and teach them how to play cruisers. Um, Teach them how to play heavy cruisers. I mean, I've gotten to the point, and I was talking about the certain content creator being a BB main and crying about everything. I mean, I mean, to anymore, I'm kind of like with the passiveness of gameplay and how it's becoming more like the PC with the
Destroyed an enemy
passiveness
battleship.
and the
Our
BBs. I'm
victory
like,
is in
come
sight.
on, Everybody, I'm starting to do it. I'm bringing on the HE spammers. I want to set you all on fire. I want to make you mad. And that's
Smoke
where I'm
generator
at
started.
anymore. And I'm actually enjoying it. I used to hate being a BB, and when the meta was HE spammers, I used to hate it, but I learned how to deal with it. And, I'm hoping now that the
Battle
meta
engine
from
Engine boost
BBs and the
deactivated.
passive gameplay will change. And I'm hoping that when training rooms does come,
Smoke
that I'm
screen set.
hoping that the content creators can utilize what it's for and benefit the community. And that's why I consider you to be content creators, and CCs are supposed to be contributors to the game. I'm not saying that it's your job to teach everybody and take your time, but what I am saying is at least try and reach out and give it a chance. You might find different content you can create. Like, hey, I just took this noob with a 48% win rate, and I just helped him out. And let's look back a couple months later and see his progression or her progression. So, anyways, that's how I feel about training rooms. Once again, I want to express that I don't have anything negative. I just am negative for the purpose of why content
Enemy
creators and
destroyer
CCs
foundered.
are pushing so
Our
hard for
victory is
training
in
rooms.
sight.
Now to move on, because I'm going to wrap up this video, and this session of training rooms is about to end. And I hope for those that hadn't seen it, are aware of what it looks like and possibly what it could be in Legends. But the couple other things I'd like to see change now I'm done with my rant, is also I'd like to see the auction more like Rocket League, and I hope they could maybe implement an auction that is similar, in which players can sell pretty much everything they have to other players. So, anyways, I'm pretty much done. I hope for those that watch this whole thing, and I appreciate your time. And hopefully, I'll be back to bring you more content, uh, like I've done in the past. Once again, though, I'm pretty busy, and yeah, I'll try to do my best for those that have enjoyed it. The one thing I do have problems with, it seems like, is the times I'm not running and recording my games for content. It seems like I have the best games, and then when I am, I just seem to have average type games that really don't seem worth the showing. Like this one here, they're not bangers, but at the same time, for anybody that watched the two Asashio games I presented while having my discussion, can learn as far as destroyer play and stuff like that, and how to play them, and what your job is, and go from there. So I do plan on bringing more in the future. Maybe I'll take the time with this 2-week kind of hiatus from a campaign, and just play some standard battles, and maybe bring some more content. So, anyways, once again, hope you enjoyed the session. Please, if you like this, hit the like button, subscribe to my content. It'll help, and maybe encourage me to do more. And please, since I am kind of talking about the game and the issues and training rooms, please leave kind comments. I appreciate it, and your opinions, and hopefully that'll spread out more to wargaming, or hopefully community contributors will get word of this, maybe see it themselves, and our content creators. And maybe hopefully in 2023 there can be some positive changes, especially to what really needs to happen, in my opinion, is quality of life. More than giving us 5-6 ships that, anymore to me, much like GM back in the day with, 5-6 different brands, and putting out pretty much the same car with a little of their own touch to it. And that's how I feel ships are becoming these days. Yeah, eventually they'll probably come out with the hybrid ships, especially the battleship carrier types and these super ships and stuff like that, which I'm not a big fan of paper ships. I would rather see real ships, but I don't know how many more out there they can do that are different, that are not the same class. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll hopefully be chatting soon, and I hope to hear from you. So I hope everybody's having a good year, everybody had good holidays, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield, hopefully. If you see me out there, go ahead and give me a holler. Maybe we can team up. And yeah, and have a good day. Big Easy out.